All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Today is July 13th, my birthday. Turned 48 years old today, and today is also another historic day for me because 12 years ago today, on my birthday, it was Friday the 13th. I walked off my job, fired my boss, emancipated myself, and freed from slavery. And I haven't looked back ever since. I will be doing a special live later from a park that I do every single year, once a year on my birthday. A park that I used to go to on my lunch break every day, and wish that one day I'll be able to come here whenever I feel like it, not just because it's my lunch break. And so I continue that tradition. This will be the 12th time I'm doing it, and I'll do that in a couple of hours. In fact, probably right after the fixed call today. So with that, welcome, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I am streaming live on Facebook on YouTube as well. My name is Brandon Ivey, the founder and CEO of Ivy League Crypto Academy, ILCA for shorts. We just relaunched ourselves on July 1st, and we are 13 days in. We are going back to the basics, 5-day challenges this month in a couple of weeks. July 22nd, actually a week from Monday, next 5-day challenge. And let's kick things off. I'm going to be short today because it is my birthday. So I want to be able to get our crypto talk in, and then I'm going to take off the rest of the day. So I want to thank you guys for giving me the birthday wishes so far. And I say that now in case, it's almost impossible that I can say thank you to every single person, especially on Facebook. That's just has blown up, but much appreciated. So let's see what's going on in the crypto world today. Oh, by the way, how many of you guys, especially in our diamond class, paid attention to Joe Biden this week? And has that changed any of your minds about his ability to continue moving forward? Should he or should he not? Has that changed any minds? Remember, we're looking at personality traits. Has that changed any minds? I was having this debate with my wife and my parents. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning. We are on opposite ends. I believe that Joe Biden needs to step aside and do so right now, immediately. My wife and my parents, on the other hand, want to see him continue to move forward. I was explaining to them, look, what you see of Biden right now is the best he's ever going to be. As time goes on, it's only going to get worse. We're talking about another 4 years. At best, all you need to do is get him through the next 4 months, at best, and then deal with the consequences and the fallout after. Also, I actually have we got to watch how I say this, a direct line to Biden. I was on the phone with a Democratic strategist who has Biden on speed dial, and he was asking me some questions. And this is a gentleman who's actually responsible for my political career early on. He's responsible for putting me in the room with the congressmen and senators and DC and Washington and the White House during the Clinton administration and all that. And he wanted my perspective on this as a younger generation. And I told him the same thing. I said, if I was advising their campaign, I would tell them, and I'll tell you exactly if I was advising them in the Trump campaign, this is what I will tell them. The Biden campaign, I will tell them, um, tell Joe Biden to shut up and stop getting in front of the camera for the next couple of days, especially until after the Republican convention, which is next week. Don't say anything. Let time pass. Pick your spots. Limit your engagements. And when you do have engagements, make them explosive. Sometimes shorter and shorter in quantity, but greater in quality in what you give. and wait this thing out, wait a couple of months, and then get prepared for the next debate. Or drop out right now, have the Democratic National Convention a celebration of Biden and his career, his accomplishments, while he introduces who they choose to be his replacement. And then he can hold that replacement's hand in hand, all the way up to the election to ensure that the Democratic Party is still united as one. And whoever's taking over after Biden is going to continue that his plan of action. And you need to do it now while you still have time. If I was on the Republican side, I would get completely out in front of this whole Project 2025 thing. Own it. What Donald Trump is doing is the worst. I don't know nothing about it. Your name's mentioned 300 times. 200 of your staff is on it. Half of what they already are planning, you've already stated publicly, and the other half you stated privately. Either own it or kill it. Also, don't say nothing and don't bring out your Republican vice president for as long as possible. Keep the spotlight on Biden and his gaffes and the infighting in the Democratic Party. The moment you come out with your vice presidential nominee, the focus is going to be back on the Republicans. And then all Joe Biden has to do is shut up and not say nothing. And the spotlight's going to be on them. And looking at who his choices are, the safest bet I predict is probably going to be Governor Burgum. Let's say that name right. Doug Bergen, something like that. He's the safest bet. Marco Rubio, no. JD Vance, no. So Burgum's the safest bet who will toe the Trump line, locks and won't seek the attention, won't seek the media spotlight. So I predict it's going to be Burgum. And then take control of the narrative. And also stop talking. Shut up. All right. Well, let's see how's the market reacting. So we've got the crypto market cap is at up. Oh, look at this. Up 1.5% in the last 24 hours. 2.27 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is at 50.8%. Ethereum is at 16.6%. Bitcoin is at 58,753. Wow, this has been bouncing around, but it's below that $60,000 mark. But it is green across the board. So since this is Saturday and we do crypto talk publicly, we've got to look at this from week to week. And I forgot I am streaming this on YouTube, so I need to make sure that I can see. There. There we go. There we go. All right. So week to week, Bitcoin's up 2.9%. Ethereum is 4.6, BNB 3.5, Lido staked Ether 4.9. Whoa. Ripple went up 20% on the week. Look at that. Cardano went up 18.5. These tokens had a pretty good week. I'm looking at the outliers that went the other way. Pepe, Caspa, Toncoin, slightly Solana. And that's it. Best performers in the past week. Notcoin went up 44% on the week. Mantra, 25.7. Optimism, 22.7. Ripple, 20. Aave, 19.8. VeChain, 18.9. Cardano, 18.5. Wow. So this has been a very strong week in crypto, yet still Bitcoin is below $60,000. That's interesting. Worst performers. The Janelle token, Dog with Hat, down 19.6%. Render, 8.9. Brett, 8.2. Pepe, Flair, Fett, Akash. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. See some of the news. So U.S. senators strike deal to push ban on lawmaker stock trading. A bipartisan group of 20 U.S. senators has reached a new agreement on legislation that would ban all members of Congress from trading stocks. A bipartisan group of United States senators has renewed efforts to push through laws that would ban members of Congress from trading stocks. In a July 9th letter to House Speaker Mike Johnson and Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, a bipartisan group of 20 senators proposed an amendment to stop trading on Congressional Knowledge Act of 2012 to stop lawmakers from stock trading. This should have been enacted since day one, from the beginning. You ever wonder, how do congressmen and senators come into office broke and leave multimillionaires? Talk about profiting from your position of power. Because they get information, not only do they get information, inside information first, they can cause things to happen with their policies, which depending on which ways they want to vote. That should be illegal, completely illegal. They already have a sweet deal. I think if you're in Congress, as you serve 2 or 3 terms, you automatically get your pension for life. That's what's his name? George Santos was trying to fight for, and also Lauren Boebert. That's right, Boebert. They want that lifetime, money coming in. Congress should not be here to make a buck, said U.S. Senator Josh Hawley at a press conference. That is correct. I agree with him on that. There is no reason why members of Congress ought to be profiting off of the information that only they get and the rest of the American people don't get. I agree with that. There was a congressman, and I'm looking right at his face, and I can't pull up his name, but he inherited a seat from his father down south. And I say inherited because his father held that congressional seat for like 20-something years. And then when he turned 28 years old, literally straight out of law school, his first job was being a congressman, taking over his daddy's seat. And he was only a congressman for three terms. So there was like every 2 years they got to run for it. So 6 years. So by the time he was 34, 35, he retired. He gets that $180-something thousand for the rest of his life. Part nepotism, because he got the Congress seat on his daddy's name. But now he has that for life, and he's now more of a political commentator. He runs his own law firm, and he uses that money to do investments. It's crazy. My dad was kind of telling me, hey, you should do the same thing. 5 years and you get a pension for life. So trading on Congressional Knowledge Act of 2012 to stop lawmakers from stock trading, Congress should not be here to make a buck. I agree with this proposal. The senators also noted that 97 members had traded stocks where the committees they oversaw had a direct impact, and that members of Congress had, on average, outperformed the S&P 500 by 17.5%. That's a shame. The senators cited a recent investigation that found that 1 in 7 sitting members of Congress, 1 in 7. There's how many congressmen? 452 or 500 or something had violated the Stock Act between 2021 and 2023. The proposed amendment to the Stock Act would ban sitting congresspeople from trading within 90 days of the bill being signed. It should be from trading, period. The same way a president has to put all of their businesses in a trust and on hold, somebody else's hand. The congressmen should have to do the same thing. Additionally, it would ban the sitting president, vice president, and the spouses of dependent children. Spouses and dependent children of all sitting Congress members from trading stocks. That's true. Nancy Pelosi's husband was very good at this. He made a lot of money. So Nancy Pelosi personally wasn't trading stocks, but her husband was. And this is, I mean, this is a bipartisan thing. Same thing with all those Republican senators. Next, they need to go after the Supreme Court justices. It is, I mean, if you really understand how our politics work, from the president, Congress, and the justices, none of it is for the people. Neither party. It is, I mean, Clarence Thomas is blatant. In your face, I don't care. I'm not going to recuse myself, even though my wife is neck deep in it. Alito, same thing. I'm not going to recuse myself. Are you kidding me? Now we got presidential immunity. This is a joke. I always got to go back to Rome. United States will not self-destruct from the outside. There's not a force on this planet that can take out the United States. It will happen from within. Both sides, and both sides think that what they're doing is what's best for the nation, not realizing they're the ones destroying it. Crazy. The penalty for violating the new laws will be a fine of 10% of the value of the asset traded, a significant step up from the current penalty, which is just $250. What? The current penalty, if they get caught doing this stuff, all they got to do is pay a $250 fine. No wonder why they do it anyway. They're making millions. That's like oh, I got caught. All right, here's a quarter. I'll pay the penalty. Let me go do it again next month, make another million. It is abundantly clear that more is needed to stop this type of behavior that is not only unethical, but also undermines the public trust in our democratic institutions. Members of Congress should be working in service of their constituents, not using their positions to line their own pockets. Anyone who feels the same should have no problem voting for this common sense, long overdue step. I have a feeling this is going to fail. This isn't going to pass. Members of the House first proposed major amendments to the Stock Act in January 2022 in a letter addressed to then Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, neither of them is going to sign that. The effort to ban Congress members from trading was aided by widely reported public disclosures that detailed highly profitable trades of several top lawmakers during the early days of the COVID pandemic. The most notable of these was Congressperson Pelosi, who became the subject to widespread public attention after it was reported her successful trading activity had contributed to her net wealth. $250 million. $250 million while earning $193,000 a year. I make more money than she does. Are you kidding me? I make more money than most all the congressmen and senators. Yet they are multi-millionaires. Pelosi has several dedicated copy trading and stock picking services that seek to imitate her trading activity has several dedicated copy trading and stock picking services. I'm curious. Quiver Quantitative. Look at this. 255 million is her net worth. She's trading volume is 131 million trading volume. Damn. with this amount trading volume, imagine she makes just 3% on a trade. What's that come out to? That comes out to $3 million. A little more than that. $3.3 million. Holy crap. And it's all public. You can see all she was doing here. But this was automated stuff. Sale, purchase. July, June. I mean, just 3 trades in the month of June. She already got one July 1st. She sold 500,000 to $1 million worth. She lost 1.7% on that, but she made 3.99% on this one. She made 33% on this one on July 2nd. 33% on Tesla stock. Shit. God. Maybe I shouldn't have gone into the politics. This is insane. Wow. All right. Judge sends Coinbase back to the drawing board over efforts to subpoena SEC's Gary Gensler. So the New York judge overseeing the SEC's case against Coinbase said the crypto exchange's attempts to subpoena Gensler's personal devices were surprising and not in a good way. A federal judge encouraged Coinbase to drop or at least substantially modify its efforts to subpoena the SEC chairman Gary Gensler. Why? His personal communications. Why? What are you trying to protect? I mean, let's go back. Before Gary Gensler was in the SEC, he was trying to call himself Crypto Grandpa. He was running his mouth about the benefits of crypto with Hester Pierce, Crypto Mom? Then he gets in the SEC and does a 360. So I'm inclined to believe he doesn't believe any of the stuff he's doing in the SEC, but he's following a current agenda. And I think Coinbase is saying the same thing. They're like, hey, let's get his personal communications and get what he really thinks. This worked when Dominion sued Fox News. When Fox News was out there running their mouths about election fraud and Dominion machines and all that BS, they got their hands on the personal text messages and communications of their top anchors, where it was proven they don't believe what they say on Fox News to the public. They can't stand Donald Trump. They think he's a clown. They know he lost the election, but they kept the lie alive. And they were proven, and Dominion won the case. And Fox News had to pay $780 million in fines. But the Trump faithful still believe the lie, no matter the facts. Fox, let me repeat this. Fox paid $780 million for knowingly lying to the MAGA base about the election. They found the text messages from Sean Hannity, Maria Bartiromo, Tucker Carlson, and all of them who said Trump is a loose cannon and a clown, and he's lying. And they did it anyway for money and for ratings. And the MAGA base still believes it. So the Coinbase is trying to pull the same thing. If we can pull Gary Gensler's personal communications that proves he is intentionally harming the crypto space, that'll throw all the SEC stuff out. But now we got a judge like the Supreme Court that wants to protect, enable, and interfere with this. Judge Catherine Polk of the Southern District Court for the Southern District of New York scheduled a hearing on short notice Thursday after the SEC attorneys asked her to block a Coinbase subpoena last month directed at Gensler. The judge said she was actually quite surprised by the request. Why would you be surprised by the request? It wants to prove a point that what he's saying here on his official capacity as the SEC chair is in contradiction to what he's saying in private. Near the end, after both parties had explained their arguments, she indicated she still believed Coinbase's request was inappropriate, but asked the exchange, thank you, asked the exchange to file a motion to compel for a formal proceeding where both parties can brief their arguments in more depth. Is that going to be in public or behind closed doors? I imagine that there was something I was missing. She said, yeah, you're missing it. Let me note that counsel on both sides is very smart, very clever. They're all very clever people. But I was kind of surprised, and not in a good way. I found the arguments, at least as articulated in the July 3rd response, to border on the fatuous. Really? I want to hear those arguments. I was not moved by basically any of the arguments. Really? The judge took specific issue with Coinbase requesting documents from Gensler predating his chair. See, what did I tell you? Before he was chair, he wanted to be crypto grandpa. So what changed when you became chair? So Coinbase is like, hey, pull his stuff up. Kevin Schwartz, an attorney with Wachtell Lipton, Rosen and Katz representing Coinbase, said the agency has refused to even discuss the totality of the documents Coinbase might have, but that Gensler's communications were relevant to the case. I agree, they are. George Tenriero, an SEC senior trial attorney, said Gensler's communications before he became chair of the agency were not relevant to the case. Yes, it is. Adding that the SEC chair is neither a fact nor expert witness in the case and could set a concerning precedent in future cases. It should set a concerning precedent. Who moved him? Who's pulling the strings? And I think whoever it is behind that is also pulling the strings of this judge, saying, hey, you need to kill this right now. We don't need that stuff to be investigated because it's going to expose us. Near the end of the hearing, the judge told Schwartz that she had strong views on the value of Gensler's statements from before he took the reign of the federal agency and that she was still leaning toward the SEC's view that the requests were inappropriate. It is not inappropriate. Still, the judge asked the two parties to get together and work on a briefing schedule, suggesting that rather than working off the SEC's motion to squash, she'd like Coinbase to file a motion to compel and work through the process. Okay, if you do that, then you're going to have to submit evidence. SEC is not going to want to do that. It is called, what is that term called? I forgot the name of the term, but they're going to have to present the evidence. Discovery. That's the word I'm looking for. SEC doesn't want that because it goes on the public record. Coinbase subpoena. All right, I want to skim through this. So the judge, the SEC saying it is an improper intrusion into Gensler's private life and arguing that any subpoena should be directed at the SEC, not at individual employees of the agency. He's not just an individual employee at the agency. He's the freaking chairman. Given also the utter lack of relevance of the requested documents and the potential chilling effect on public service, the court should quash the subpoena and issue a protective order. Hell no. Where's Coinbase protective order? Gary Gensler can just say one word and completely disrupt Coinbase's business and harm all of their investors with no proof or evidence. They have a right to defend themselves. Coinbase's Schwartz during Thursday's hearing said the SEC's charges included conduct from before Gensler was chair, though Tenriero responded that the charges are specific to Coinbase's conduct and not Gensler's communications as a private citizen. So in other words, you're saying, well, he can say whatever he wants as a private citizen. He's just operating in his role in the office, which may not necessarily be what he personally believes. He has to follow the law. I don't agree with that. You have to take into account his personal beliefs as well. Fair game. In their July 3rd response to the SEC's letter to the court, lawyers for Coinbase argued that it is fair game to subpoena Gensler's personal communications because he is not only the most prominent regulator, but also the most vocal academic commentator concerning the regulatory status of digital assets and exchanges, and often speaks publicly while expressing that his views are his personal views, not that of the SEC. I agree. What Mr. Gensler was saying in his private communications about the regulatory status of digital assets and what market participants were saying to him about these matters is probative of the objective understanding of the public and market participants regarding what conduct the securities laws prohibit. A document or communication need not be public or private insight or need not be public to provide insight into the public's objective understanding as to what regulators require of them. The agency's personnel's communications with market participants and interagency correspondence are all relevant to the fair notice events. I agree. This is BS. They're trying to protect him. And the last one up here I got. CFTC chair pushes for federal legislation to regulate Bitcoin and Ether as commodities. CFTC chair pushes. So now we got the CFTC trying to make a move. This is like, you got to think of like two drug dealers and they're fighting over the same corner. So far, the SEC is running the block, but they're stuttering a little bit. They're losing a step. They're slipping. And the CFTC is trying to move in on the territory to take over. That's what's happening here. So during his Senate testimony, the chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission emphasized the necessity of federal legislation to regulate digital commodities such as Bitcoin and Ether, citing market volatility and fraud. The chairman advocated for expanded regulatory powers to safeguard investors and maintain financial stability. He also referenced a recent court ruling that reaffirmed the status of the two largest cryptocurrencies as commodities. CFTC chair calls on federal legislation to regulate digital commodities. So they're making a move on the SEC and Gary Gensler. See, in its decision, the court reaffirmed that both Bitcoin and Ether are commodities under the Commodity Exchange Act. It has been almost 9 years since the CFTC brought its first enforcement action in connection with an illegal Bitcoin operation. Since that time, the agency has been aggressive in using our powerful but limited anti-fraud and anti-manipulation authorities. In total, the CFTC has brought over 135 digital commodity cases, resulting in billions in penalties and restitution. All along, CFTC enforcement staff has worked closely with our civil and criminal law enforcement partners at the federal and the state levels. The escalating rate of digital asset enforcement cases since 2020 mirrors the accelerated and sustained adoption of digital assets by U.S. investors. Despite the CFTC's efforts, Benham emphasized the limitations of their current anti-fraud and anti-manipulation authorities. He called for new legislative authority to close the regulatory gap, particularly in the spot market for non-security tokens. Additionally, he stressed the importance of international coordination and regulatory certainty to prevent exploitation by bad actors while supporting innovation and economic benefits. All right, CFTC is making a move. Okay, so that's it for Crypto Talk for today. Like I said, today's my birthday. I got some things I'm going to be doing. I will be doing a live in a few hours from my park, my favorite park, celebrating my Emancipation Day, July 13th, 2012, when I fired my boss and purchased my own freedom. So I'll be talking about that from the park. in 30 minutes, I will be listening to a very important live since yesterday. Those of you who listened to my live I did from a swimming pool, that I made a decision that I am moving forward. I picked a direct selling company that I actually want to build in and build big like I did on the Vara side. Vara, we put in $2.5 million worth of volume in less than a year. If I did that same exact thing under this company, I would be what's called a quadruple diamond or something like that. But this one, we actually have the results. I'm down 4 pounds in a week and a half. So we know that the thing works. And I believe this is going to go viral. The product just launched this month. So I'm having a soft launch. My official launch will be in August. I am extending to those in our community as far as the diamond members and our inner circle to be positioned first for those who want to build with me. Not just a curious, but be positioned. I want to build. I'm going to push to make a lot of money with this opportunity. So I want to invite whoever wants to do the same thing. We're still early on. I have less than 20. No, I think we're up to 26 so far. So whoever's positioned early. So send me a private message if you want to be positioned before we begin our marketing campaign for this. We're going to have a funnel and everything put together for this, but they're having a call at the top of the hour. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, then send me a message and I'll send you that link. But it's this little product right here. And I'm going to incorporate this into Get Fit, how we are moving with Get Fit. But this little product right here is working miracles so far. I haven't heard so far anybody have anything negative about it, only positive results and no side effects. We might have a winner if you choose you want to be a part of it. If not, that's perfectly fine as well. I have an ILCA presentation tomorrow night. Remember, it's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the ILCA presentation, and the same link as Thursday night. So with that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Much appreciated. I am blessed and grateful to see 48 years, and we are not done yet. You know, I have an ultimate plan where I want to be by the time I turn 50, and so we are still moving. We're still at work right now. So with that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye. Wait, whoa, Leonard, you down 1 pound already? We're about to have another live good happen. That's all I'm going to say. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.